Right? Yeah, it's come a long ways. We are back in full force, and it feels good. It looks amazing. The paint correction, they compounded and polished all of the paint, filmed the headlights, front bumper, hood, and mirrors. Decided not to do the fenders. They don't really have much of a forward-facing edge on the E60. The tint makes such a huge difference, not only for the obvious, where we're getting way less UV light and solar energy inside the car, which is very noticeable, but out the back before it was just really hazy, and that is not the case anymore. It's crystal clear, just like my car. It looks dark, like inside Elite Finish when I filmed in there earlier today. Under those lights and the way it reflects, the windshield looked black. It looked like a video game. It doesn't look like that at all. I like window tint that you can walk up to the car and still easily look inside and see, oh look, it has a black interior, it has a manual, it has cooled seats. You know, I like to be able to do a little bit of spying, and you can with this 35% tint. I think much darker than that, you'd really have to get up close and cup your hands over the glass, but this is the right level for me. Late today, it is 1:28. Annoyingly, going down there and picking this up and then going over to the body shop to pay the bill, split the invoice up, do 2 credit cards to work with the cash flow. All of that makes what should be 15 minutes take like an hour and a half. So I went home, I had bacon for breakfast, because it's Friday and that's healthy. Headed up to the shop now. The guys I think are working on the idle and throttle actuators on Sepang. Somebody asked me how many Sepang cars I've seen. Probably 3 E60 M5s. There was one back in Hudson in Ohio that I'd see it about once a month in the summer over at Panera and in the Acme Plaza parking lot. No, that was a manual one driven by some older guy. Really, really nice car. And now this one at the shop, and I think I've seen one more between Cars and Coffees, car shows, and just general traffic. But certainly not common. I think something like 70-80% of E60 M5s are either Silverstone 2 or Black Sapphire was by far the most common color on the E60 chassis, and it's a good color. It requires a lot of maintenance like any black does, but if you're willing to do that, you can't go wrong with a black M5. Now, of course, my favorite color on the E60 is Interlagos. I love the blues. If it's Le Mans, Avis, Interlagos. I'm not the biggest fan of Laguna Seca. Works on the E46 M3, but I wouldn't go out of my way to paint an E60 that color. This car we really went back and forth on since almost the whole car was being painted. Now is an opportunity to change the color, to make it Techno Violet, to make it Imola Red, to make it Rosa Corsa, just something really cool and unique. And obviously we decided against that for a few reasons. One, we didn't paint the roof or the trunk lid, so that would have added costs, but primarily just due to the idea that to really do a full paint color change respray, you need to totally disassemble the doors, remove the lights. To do it right, the engine needs to come out and the driveline needs to come out. We need to do chassis paint. That would have more than doubled the paint costs and time. And then you still have the idea that, okay, well, it was a Silverstone car, but now it's this color. And obviously this isn't original. It's been LCI'd. It's got one of these now. Originality is not hugely important, but when it comes to the color, there's something about Silverstone is just so livable and so usable, and it's a good looking color when it's clean. It's a good looking color when it's dirty. Looks great at night, in the day, in the sun, in the clouds. You can drive it in the rain and it doesn't look like a wreck afterwards, and that has a lot of value, whereas something like Techno Violet would now become a maintenance thing. And the fact my dad doesn't like purple, he thinks it's dumb. Well, I think it's awesome. A purple V10 manual M5 would be badass, but it wasn't for him, and at the end of the day it's his car, so that's why we've done what we've done. All the M5s except for the 545 and the 530. So with this up here today, done from detailing, let's get a better look here in our shop. With the film, you have to look for it. If you really look, you can see the faint line of where it's wrapped. It's just such a good, clean installation. On day one, you get a few bubbles that work their way out. No big deal. The hood, like, it's all wrapped around, so you got to get under there and look for it. I guess on the corner. Focus. You can just see where the film is on the corner. The bumper, I haven't gotten a super close look at the bumper yet. I wonder if they did those. Boy, I would hate to do this bumper with all these aggressive scoops and shit. This would be a pain in the ass. You can feel it. It feels more plasticky. Well, not really. The ceramic coating feels super smooth too. Wow, it's clean, clean, clean work. That's why we take it there. It's not the cheapest place in town, but it might be the best. It's got a little bug on it already. Cool. Car's looking awesome. There were 2 codes in the DME, or in the, none in the DME. 2 codes in the car this time. Send it down there with 1. You're going to love this. So the 1 code we have is for that stupid fogging sensor. The new one is from the IHKA, that's the climate module, for the heated washer nozzles, because when they film the hood, they pop those out. And the computer knows about that. That is so ridiculous to me that it knows that you've unplugged the little washer squirters. So it said existent? No. And that's because they're back and they're plugged in. So I cleared the codes out. It needs to be smogged sometime before registration is due, which is May. So we have just enough time to get some miles on it now and get things ready to go before we go and smog. There's a little bit of paint overspray that was back here, which is now gone. I see an opportunity to improve that ceiling fitment though. Pop, pop, there it goes. First thing we did when we got it back was replace the floor mats, and there's already some dust from the shop floor on the driver's one, or on the driver's one. So let me show you the passenger side. And these are the brand new E60 M5 floor mats, which have the new style M logo, way crisper than before. People complain that they're not as plush. They're not. People complain that they're not as thick. They're not. They are thinner. They're probably not as nice, but they will definitely last longer, as the backing here is all this kind of friction material, and these things I haven't seen peel off like they did on the old ones. So no complaints. They're still available. Maybe not as plush and luxurious as before, but come on, freaking floor mats, for frig's sake. Idle and throttle actuators are in here, and we're waiting on some more hardware to show up before we go ahead and put the plenum back together and then get the transmission back on the car, but we're getting there. We did a lot of work on this today. Mike worked on this all day. Door lock actuators in the back, both window regulators, vapor barriers. Yesterday, I didn't mention he did the driver's side regulator. That's partially why it was a whole day thing. Then on this, the cluster's back and installed. Pixels are perfect. We installed, per customer request, new aftermarket speakers for this tweeter and this mid. Cleaned this car up a lot. It was really dirty inside. Door panels are back. Shit, what else? I got working on the Blue Bus, got the microphone installed. Mark IV computer, upgraded from a dead Mark III. So that's today. I've got a lot of mail to do, and it's still daylight and sunny. Hopefully I'll get out of here before it sets. We're ending the vlog here. I had Shake Shack for dinner. We're watching the Lakers. LeBron is back. He's playing after an ankle injury. Anthony Davis is back after 6 weeks. He's playing, and they're barely beating the New Orleans Pelicans. Almost said Hornets. What a disaster of a season for Los Angeles. Just anything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Major injuries, terrible, terrible management decisions, and trading Alex Caruso and all of that. I don't talk about it much because I know nobody cares. But it's been very, very disappointing. So I think next year is going to be a better shot. I wouldn't be totally surprised if LeBron wants out. I don't think he will, but we'll have to see. I've never gotten to see him in a Laker uniform in 4 years. The games I've gone to, he hasn't been able to play in. So we'll have to see. Larissa's on her way over. I'm going to finish this game. I'm stuffed and ready for bed. Ready to sleep in a little bit tomorrow. Talk to you guys on Saturday.